Wait, are you are you gonna count me in? Whatever. I'm just gonna go for it. Welcome to the Queen's Lead podcast. I'm your host, Amy Singleton, and as a child of the 80s, I'd love to say queens rule, but they don't. Queens lead. Being a queen means you are worthy to be a leader of people. The guests on our show do exactly that. They are leading the way in their businesses, families, and communities. And they're taking their rightful place in the spotlight, leading and inspiring the developing queens in all of us. Welcome to the Queen's Lead podcast.
Now here's your host, Amy Singleton, the queen of realness, leading conversations about business, life, and the real shit you want to know.
Welcome, everybody, back to another episode of the Queen's Lead podcast. I'm your host, Amy Singleton, and we are rejoined today by Mariah. She is the real estate mogul in Oklahoma City. Let me tell you guys, she was episode 5 when we first started this podcast. And this releasing now is episode 89. So we are excited. We have grown a lot, obviously, in our podcast. I've grown a lot. Mariah has so much going on. Welcome back, Mariah. Tell us what you've been up to.
So much. Oh my gosh. What have I been up to? Not been up to. So since we last spoke, I can't remember exactly what we went over, but did we ever talk about the TV stuff on the first one? I don't remember.
I think we were like, you were just at the beginning of trying to figure out some like TV show. And then I know one didn't work out and something better came along, as God often does to us. So yeah, tell us about what you had planned, but what actually happened instead.
So, okay. Yeah. So I've got my real estate brokerage. I've got 40 agents at my company. About 10 of them work on my personal team. Sorry, my Slack messages keep.
You're not running a business or anything, are you?
Like, I don't know how to mute it either. I mean, I do. Okay. So, basically operating the brokerage, that's like a full-time job, right? Yeah. 2024, we have goals of growing. So we've kind of stayed in that like 30 to 40 range of agents, which has been great. I mean, that's a healthy amount of adults to manage. But it's like, you know, when you just know that there's more. So, okay. Oh my gosh, I'm going to mute Slack. I don't know if you can hear it on your side.
Yeah, I can.
I'm going to find out because it's just going to keep going. Okay.
And if you're not using Slack for your team and in your business, use Slack. Slack is amazing, by the way.
Slack is amazing, unless your notifications are going off during a podcast.
That's right.
Okay, so 2024 is the year of growth. I just hired on a new director of operations yesterday. So she's starting, yes. And then I've got my office administrator who's / transaction coordinator. And then I also pulled in an ISA, which is an inside sales agent. So like on the inside, I've got a lot of operations that are starting to grow that I'm trusting people. Like I'm like, okay, I'm going to hand this torch to you and I'm going to trust you to carry it well. And we're going to just start growing. I mean, we're going to start really pulling in agents. 2024, I'm launching a coaching program. I literally have said no for so long. And then I just like, I'm great at selling, but I don't enjoy the process anymore. I don't want to do that part anymore. And so I'm like, I just have so much knowledge on how people can operate businesses and how you can get your real estate license and actually be successful. So I was like, okay, I'm going to put it all together. So that's the direction we're going. But where we have been in 23, so I did pitch a couple of television show ideas to some major networks, and we filmed a little sizzle reel. That's kind of like a pre-pilot. And obviously that didn't get picked up, but I was just like, I'm not taking no for an answer. I never take no for an answer. I'm like, I'm going to figure it out. So
yes.
I ended up getting approached by Reveal Network, and Queen.
That's queen stuff right there. I love it.
I just, don't let anybody ever dictate your future. You're gonna get a lot of no's before you find yes. And so Reveal came along, and then that's when you joined me on a couple episodes. That That was like their tester. I don't know if you know that. Like they said, let us fly out and film you and see how you do, and then we'll go from there. So when we filmed those 2 episodes for Negotiators, that was just really to see if they were like, let's see if this chick is all talk. And then a couple of months later, they were like, okay, you pulled it off. So we'd love for you to be the global host of a new television show called Negotiators Lux. And so I'm the main host. I pretty much do like the introductions and the transitional pieces of the TV show. And then agents across the country fill in those gaps. So it'll start with me. Hey, I'm your host, welcome to another episode. Let's head over to New York City to see what Nancy Ann is doing. And then it goes to that agent. They do their 5 to 7 minute segment about, people, places, or things. Basically, it's a really cool person, a really cool home, a really cool business. I want you to highlight your community, right? So the agents have an option to be on the streaming show, and they get to highlight their community and build their name up. Like that's the whole point of real estate, right? It is just being a community leader and really just showcasing other people and showing up. And so it's been really fun. We are on episode 11, and we are about to wrap season 1, and season 2 is going to start in February. So I've got that component going now. My whole point in it is just really, I guess that's the fun part. You find like, what is it you're passionate about? I love creating television. I never knew that I loved all this stuff, but I'm a very creative person. So it's all like making sense, what I'm doing. I loved real estate, but that was never my dream. My dream was never to go and be this incredible top producer and sell all these homes. That was not even a thought in my mind. And that's the way the cookie crumbled. And then I was like, I'm going to make this creative. I'm going to like pull in my creative side. So that's where the TV production side's coming in alongside with real estate. I'm not going to shut that down. I'm just going to take them both together. So we've got Negotiators Lux. And then in the transition of that, another network reached out. It's called Your Home TV. It is actually Kathy Ireland. Do you know?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, so this is actually her network that she launched a year ago in October. So Kathy Ireland's like the driving force behind it, and her partners, which are incredible people, they reached out and they were just like, we love your energy, the whole shebang. So I ended up getting a reality TV show on that network called Make It Happen. And Make It Happen is kind of like the coaching program. Like it's about my life, what I do. And so I really showcase home, business, and life. So you get a little bit of mom, you get a little bit of businesswoman and broker and boss and owner, you get a little bit of the wedding venue. So it's just kind of a behind the scenes look of my life. And it's so fun. So we are in season 1. And what's been so confusing is both of these shows have like just gone together. You know what I mean? So everybody's like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm in 2 different places on season 1, both on episode this or that. And so Make It Happen is streaming. I'm on episode 8. I actually just submitted it today to the network. And that show has actually now been picked up on Reveal. So you can find Make It Happen on Reveal and on Your Home TV. And then we actually have about 4 other streaming networks that are looking into it right now. So it's just slowly growing and going. And I tell everybody, real estate did not happen overnight. Took me at least a decade to get where I was. And that's my same story for my TV production. Is this hasn't been overnight. It's already been 8 years of me having this idea. Now I'm only in season 1. I can't imagine where I'm at in 10 years from now. So it's just so fun.
So fun, so busy, so fun. I love that. You said earlier, real estate wasn't really what you wanted to do. Yeah. What was it that you really wanted to do?
I didn't know. So I went to, college at the University of Oklahoma, and I specialized or majored in sociology, psychology, and women's studies. And probably about year 4 or 5, I was like, if I want to do anything with this, I'm going to have to get my PhD. And that's not me. Like, I can't sit still. I'm not a very studious person.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like reading
Yeah.
was very like methodical. I was just like, I'm just too whimsical for that. I am. And as you get
Yeah.
older, you kind of learn who your personality is. And I was just like, I used to want to know what made people tick and I wanted to help them. And I still kind of have that nurturing therapeutic side to me. I mean, you definitely have to in real estate because it's a very emotional situation. But I think I'm a little too business for that kind of stuff. So I tabled that idea. And as soon as I graduated, my brother hooked me up with a job at Carlsbad Management Group here in Norman, and they're a property management company. So that was kind of the doorway into real estate, and I was extremely successful at that, and just had all of my ducks in a row. Every apartment complex was 100% full. Like they were paid in, like it was like a tight running ship. And probably about 6 to 8 months in, I realized, oh my gosh, I have nowhere else to go from here. Like I have hit my ceiling. I wasn't making a lot of money. I hated the job. I mean, you dealt with a lot of sob stories and just, and like I had that nurturing side, but I was like, some people were just off their rocker and I would be cornered. And sometimes there was places that were just so uncomfortable. And I just was like, oh, this is not for me. And then that's when another real estate broker who owned one of the complexes reached out and said, hey, I've never seen this so efficient. I want to know who you are. I think you'd be really good at real estate. And I was like, oh, I don't want to do real estate. And the reason I didn't want to is because I grew up with my mom being in real estate. And I didn't care. Like I had no desire. Like, sure, I loved open houses and going with her. And I remember doing all that stuff, but contract work and working weird hours and all the things, I was just like, that's not for me. But the one thing she said that my husband was like, you need to look into this was, and I was like 21 or 22, so super young. She was like, there's no ceiling. And I just was like, and my husband was like,
wait a minute.
Yeah, so that's kind of how this all happened. And then I happened to just really create such a beast that I'm in too deep. Like there's no way I could dissolve this now. I'm just now modifying it to what makes me keep going.
Oh, I love that you're able to bring those creative pieces in. And congratulations on going all in on the coaching. If I have one more person be like, you need to coach, I'm like, I don't want to coach. I don't want to nurture. I was like you when I first went to college. I mean, I got my degree in nursing. So yeah, again, like there is some of that, like that nurturing feeling, but like, I don't want to be your therapist. I don't want to listen to your problems and help you solve them in your brain and all like you were like, I can't stand like just another sob story where we can't actually take action. I'm more like, I want to tell you what to do, not coach you through and help you to make a decision on what to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, and that was kind of my thought too, because, I'm dealing with it anyway, but I just was like, I told one of my business partners that's going to help me with that. I was like, I do this anyway. So why not actually create a program? And I will, just as you just said, that's how I will approach it. I will coach, but I will more so tell. Like, this is what needs to happen. Here's what took me from 0 to 60. Like, and I'm not going to be, that's like, not everybody's going to like that style, but there's going to be a lot of people who are just fresh in the game who will appreciate it because there's just so much, like so many things out there, there's so many different styles. So
yes. And being able to tell someone like, this is the way I did it. If you want to know, here's the plan. If you don't, find another coach that will listen to your feelings and walk you through the reason you think you should or shouldn't do this thing. I'm telling you, here's what works.
Yep. Amen.
Amen and amen. So is that going to be a coaching program open to the public only for your team internally there, or what's that going to look like and how can people get involved with it?
If agents are at my brokerage, it'll be free. It'll be a part of being at Calhour Group, but no, it's going to be open up to the world. So it's going to be online, a Zoom, how they all kind of do it, but I just have so many people ask me so many questions that I give away so much knowledge for free that I spent thousands of dollars trying to figure out. And I spent years, and I've had 2 or 3 different real estate coaches. And so I'm like, and those coaches were wonderful, but 9 times out of 10, I knew 90% of what they were telling me. And so I'm like, why am I paying them thousands?
To
just reiterate what I already know. And then I started just like watching all the pieces of how many people didn't know this stuff. And I'm like, I could do this. I just it wasn't the right time. So we're going to make 2024 the right time.
That's it. Right now is the right time. I love it. That's so exciting. Oh my gosh, there's so much going on. I don't even know what else you could possibly do. You've got a couple of kids still, right?
Yeah, we got 2 boys,
Little ones.
little ones, lots of soccer. They're just so fun. Lots of soccer. I mean, oh my gosh, lots of soccer.
You need that t-shirt that says, sorry, I can't soccer.
I actually love that. I call my husband Mr. Mom.
Yeah.
Like he handles all of those duties and he's so great at it. But I mean, he enjoys, like, he also works, but he also enjoys that I am running all these operations full time. So he is like, you just keep doing that and I'll just tell you when the game's at and you can show up. I'm like, perfect. So
isn't it nice to have a partner like that? Oh my gosh. I don't know what I would do without mine.
I know, he's amazing. He carries a lot of the weight, but we balance each other out.
Yeah. How do you now, does he work in your business as well, or is he a totally separate entity?
Yeah, so he actually so he does have his real estate license. He's had it for about 8 years. So he knows the industry really well. He's more so behind the scenes. Like I call him my CPA. He truly is. He's been an aeronautical engineer up at Tinker Air Force Base for, 20 plus years. So that's his main gig. And then nights and weekends, he'll follow up and help me with what I need.
Yeah. And so you guys have had kind of that strong, stable government job that has that really allowed you the freedom and kind of to find your way?
Yes, it gave me so on my first couple of years, 2 years, yes, we solely just depended on him. And he was just like, you're gonna give that's why he gave me, like, do this for 5 years and then we'll reevaluate if this isn't working. And I tell everybody that was my lifeline. I had insurance and I had my spouse supporting me because that's huge. I mean, I've gone through a lot of agents where they had to quit within like 6 months because their spouse just was not supportive. Like they were mad they were working. They were mad they were gone. They were mad they were on their phone all the time. And I was just like, this is not the industry for that. Like you have to have somebody who understands your second spouse is your telephone, and so he's a huge component of why I was able to thrive really well.
That's so important to have a partner that gets it. Like you said, like when we're driving somewhere, this phone is in my hand. I constantly have to be engaging with people online and answering those calls and serving people constantly.
Constant 24/7. Yep. There's no such thing as a day off.
Absolutely not. How much have you found integrating your personal and your professional life into one? I mean, I can see from the outside what you do, but can you give some feedback for those realtors out there that are like, oh, it's just like I'm me and then my job is over here and those are two separate things. That's not really a thing, is it?
I am one. And that's really kind of how I've run my life is you see what you get. I'm consistent through and through on every aspect of my life. So, Realtor Mariah is the same as broker Mariah. Like I am, how people are like, oh, I wear so many hats. I wear so many hats, but I'm the same consistent person throughout. It's just my focus shifts on like what I am handling. And so a lot of people, I'm not a time blocker. That's one thing a lot of people preach is like time blocking. I know a lot of people need that structure, but I literally will be like mom for 30 minutes and then it switches to broker and then it switches to wedding venue and then it switches to, but that's how I can function that way. I can smoothly go throughout the day and handle these things. But there's a lot of people that aren't. They're a completely different person behind closed doors. And those are the ones that don't necessarily succeed in my opinion, because they're not transparent in who they are and it catches up at some point. I'm very transparent. Now, I do not, like if I have a client that I'm working with, mom life doesn't get in the way. Like, I'm not like, oh, I'm so sorry. I can't do that because I have to pick up my kids. I handle it in a business manner of, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm unavailable at that moment because I already have a prior engagement. But however, this is when I am available. And it's worked so flawless for me because they're not thinking, oh, she's prioritizing this over that. But yeah, when I'm for the last couple of years trying to figure out like who I am on social media. And everybody's like niche down, find what it is you want to do. I finally was like, I'm the niche. Mariah Calhor is the niche. Like I can't just be real estate. I can't just be wedding venue owner.
That's literally, she's laughing for those of you not watching on YouTube because I'm putting on the crown. I don't know how many times I have to tell women and people I'm talking to or mentoring they're like, I have to switch off this hat. Oh, I got to take off my mom hat. I got to put on my realtor hat. Oh, now I got to put on the marketing hat. No, you don't, bitch. You got one crown. Let me tell you, this is your life. Each one of these jewels is just a different facet of what you are. You are the brand. And when you're willing to put yourself out there on social media in your real life as that person that you are in your brand, you don't have to remove that hat, right? Like you just said, you just prioritize what needs to happen in that moment for that person and who's right in front of you.
Yep. And that's what has worked for me, is just being like truly myself and not always just being real estate. Because I mean, let's just be honest. Nobody cares when you list a house. Nobody cares if you sell a house. And so I want to coach people on just being yourself. Like, we don't always need to have this pissing match. I used to have that constantly where I sold this, I sold that. That helped me climb up the ladder. Yes. But at the end of the day, like, it really doesn't matter. As long as you are a good person and you do well, your business will grow. And so that's kind of what I want to help agents on, is just really how to position yourself as an authoritative figure, because you truly do know what you're doing. But it's not always just constant real estate. Like share your life. People want to know about who they're working with. They do. I mean, that's the whole point of social media.
That's right. 100%. And those people are not looking to buy or sell a home, really. Right. They're looking to solve some other problem that has brought them to the need to buy or sell that home. Happy, sad, different life situations. It's not a transactional life that we live. And I think people are they're craving that personal connection more than ever before, because everything feels so fake online.
Oh, it's awful. Yeah. Yeah. I don't remember if I told you this last time. I'll never forget it. There was a guy that I met at Walmart. This was a couple of years ago, and we were friends on Facebook, and he was just like, "Hey, Mariah, I've never met you in person, and it's so great to meet you." I'm like, "Oh, I love it." He goes, "You know what I like about you is you will get on social media and you will post without any filters, and you will post without any makeup." And I kind of was just like, I didn't even know people watched. Like, I didn't even know that was like a thing, And I was like, well, I like to go to Walmart without makeup, and I can't put on a filter. So you're going to see what you get. And it was just like, it's so true. I mean, I love filters. Filters are fun. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love when it makes like things vibrant and this and that, but I'm just saying, like, it's so true. Social media is so skewed. I mean, there's so many people that when they come up and say hello to me, and then after they leave, I'm like, who was that? Because you just can't recognize them. Oh shoot, there you are. Yeah. It's like, I don't get it, but I get it.
Yeah, you're like, oh, was that picture from 10 years ago? Or like, how many filters are actually on that? Because I did not recognize this person. That happens all the time. I love it when you finally see someone, you're like, oh yeah, you look exactly like you look on social media. This makes sense.
Yes. Well, my joke is, you can't miss me. You can't miss this long red hair. Like, even if I didn't have makeup on or whatever, like, people can still, they're like, oh, I know that chick. Actually, somebody posted that on one of my recent posts. They were like, I knew it was you in the Christmas parade because I saw your hair.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, you can never ever cut your hair. I went to a board. I'm pretty well known for these red lips that I wear most of the time when I go out. Post all the time without it, but I showed up to a board meeting for the nonprofit I serve on one day, fresh off a late night flight or something the night before, and like 3 people came up to me because ponytail, t-shirt, no lips. Are you all right? Are you sick? Is something going on? What's happening? Because I've become known for the red lip.
I love it. I actually, tonight for my photo shoot, I'm doing red lips.
Yes, do the red and red. I love it.
I love it.
Oh my gosh. Well, Mariah, thank you so much for hopping back on to give us an update about your life. I'm so excited and proud for you, Queen. In this Oklahoma market, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of realtors trying to set themselves apart, and you do an absolutely fabulous job. You and your team, you're killing it. You know what to do. You know how to be involved and engaged in your community, and that's what really matters. So remind us again, where can we watch your show? And then if you already have a sign up for your program, we want to know where people can go get it.
So sign up is to be continued. We're working on building everything out right now. But I mean,
Awesome.
honestly, you can, any social media handle, you guys can reach out and message me and I'll find it. But all of my platforms are just my name, Mariah Calhor. There's literally only one of me. I've searched high and low. There's no other Mariah Calhor. Yes. And then for the TV shows, so you guys can stream them on Roku or Amazon Fire Stick right now, or all gaming systems or online. Apple and Android TV. And what else? I think that's it. So it's on Reveal Network and Your Home TV Network. So both of those networks can be found on any of those streaming services right now, but it always changes. Okay. Keep growing and adding, and yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna be on CBS Morning News before we know it. I can just like see it now.
I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but I'm just along for the ride.
That's it. We're all here for the ride, and I'm so excited to be on this journey with you. So everybody go over and visit Mariah Calhor, Kalhor, Mariah, just like it sounds. Go find her online. Her program will be coming soon. If you're a realtor and you need to know what the hell to do and you want someone to tell you and not just like work through your feelings with you, Mariah's your gal.
I will tell you.
We will tell you what to do. We're the boss women that will just tell you. I love it. Mariah, thank you for being my guest, and thank you for being a queen that leads.
The Queens Lead podcast is recorded worldwide and produced by the kick-ass media team at the Height Digital home base in Nicaragua. Until our next episode, stay real, queens, and go lead. Remember to tap that follow and leave your review. For freebies and more real, inspiring content you love, go to amysingleton.net and connect with Amy on our socials at @TheRealAmySingleton.
One more thing. This is the legal language, what my lawyer wrote and what I need to read to you. This podcast is presented for educational and entertainment purposes only. I am Amy Singleton, and I'm just your friend. Although I may speak to many on this show, I am not a psychotherapist, a business coach, a doctor, a CPA, a lawyer, or probably anyone who should be giving you professional advice. This podcast is not a substitute for a relationship with your doctor, coach, or any other licensed professional. Got it? Good. Now go be a queen and follow me at @TheRealAmySingleton.